Happy Father's Day to all the fathers across Jamaica and those in the diaspora. We here at the Jamaica Information Service wish you a most relaxing day, one that is filled with love and appreciation. To show you how committed we are to that goal, we've packaged a show in celebration of you. So sit back, relax, and let's turn the pages.
The tobacco industry is not your friend. It has never been your friend. And in the era now of vaping and the next generation nicotine products, it is working harder than ever to reach you. This is the evidence. Cherry, mango, bubblegum, watermelon, and mint. Those are the flavors for e-cigarettes, and they are not developed for 50-year-old people. They are developed and supported by social media influencers and concert sponsorships, the bright packaging and the language of it being cool and free. These are deliberate marketing decisions made by billion-dollar corporations whose survival depends on recruiting its new addicts before their old ones die. Do not be deceived by the word new. These products are new in form but not new in function. They deliver the same nicotine. They create the same dependency. And what we want to be able for you to do is to be aware that you are the target for a campaign.
Fathers play a critical role in shaping families and communities. From providing guidance and support to serving as role models, their influence can have a lasting impact on a child's development and well-being. As we celebrate and reflect on fatherhood today, we take a closer look at the importance of fathers in the home and the difference they make in the lives of their children. Let's join the conversation in this week's episode of Get the Facts.
Welcome to Get the Facts, the program that keeps you informed about government's policies and initiatives. I'm Theodore Henry. On this Father's Day special, we focus on the vital role men play in shaping strong families and communities. Today, we explore what it means to be a man in modern society and the qualities that make great and effective fathers. Joining us is Senior Quality Management Officer with responsibility for quality management within the Ministry of Health and Wellness and co-chairman of the Men's Coalition Committee at the Jamaica Civil Service Association, Alan Carter, and he will share insights on the making of a man and the importance of positive fatherhood. Sir Carter, welcome to Get the Facts.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me here this morning.
All right, so let's jump right into a big question.
Go ahead.
So, what does it mean to be a man?
In our society, what it means to be a man, it is the ability to foot the bill. Yeah. One, yes.
We're going to have to talk about that, right?
The ability to get things done, to move things, to make things happen. That is, in a nutshell, what it means in our society to become a man, or to be a man. Essentially, though, I believe that part of that, fundamentally, we have much more to do in terms of leadership, discipline, consistency, providing structure and order to our families, for example, and to the community, and then, of course, the wider nation.
So one of the things that has been said so far is not just be a man, but become a man.
Yes.
Could you go into becoming a man? Why is it necessary to become?
Well, why it is necessary to become a man? Because you're not yet a man until you would have gone through the fire, so to speak. So let me frame it this way.
Right.
In my growing up, I met my grandfather, I met my father, right? But my father was still responsible for me to a certain extent. becoming a man means you understand the concept that no one is coming to save you. Once you realize that you have started the fundamental journey that is necessary to understand what it means to become a man.
So taking leadership of your own life.
That is correct.
Okay.
And so if it is that you have someone who has leadership of your life, you're still not there.
Okay.
Fundamentally.
All right. So in all of this then, somebody might be saying, okay, I'm getting to that point.
Yes.
How do I prepare emotionally? You mentioned finances at the beginning. I'm going to have to talk about that. Emotionally, financially, mentally. How do I prepare for that becoming when I take charge of my own life and a family per se?
Well, what I can say, and everybody will have a different scenario, but what I can say is that you're paying attention to the men you're around. So paying attention to the men in your family.
Right.
I paid attention to my father, for example. I realized that I wanted to be that kind of hero, that superhero, because my father was my hero.
Okay.
And I wanted to become that hero for my children. And so once I had that in mind, I started to shape around being a protector, what it means to be a protector, what it means to be a provider.
In your sphere of life at
in my,
the time. So
in
at
my
school,
sphere,
you're protecting.
Yes. So even so,
Yeah.
because remember now, that growing up, you would have seen your father in different scenarios, and you said to yourself that, one day I want to become like my father.
Okay.
And so that was it for me. I wanted to become him or even greater than him,
Yeah.
as he has always said to me.
So is this a passive process or should it be active? You mentioned patterning your father.
That's correct.
Does your father actively be present and pour into you, or just, watch what I do?
Well, it is more, let us put it this way, it's a little bit of both. Because in some instance, I had to watch what he did.
Oh, right.
And also, in other instance, he would directly instruct me and guide me.
Right.
And so you have to also be in that frame of mind to take the guidance as well, which is very important. If you're not in that frame of mind to take that guidance, it will be very difficult on your journey in becoming a man. Because being able to take guidance from those who are before you, very important, especially in becoming a man.
So in becoming a man, you can't chat to me. It doesn't apply.
No, it doesn't apply.
Doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
So, Sir Carter, what are some of from where you sit, what are some of the biggest challenges facing men, young, old, what have you, in society today?
All right. The biggest challenge that I believe facing men is for them to understand the importance of establishing real, true connection or relationship, not only with themselves, but with God. That relationship is extremely important because that relationship will help to form how you maneuver, especially how we co-mingle with the other gender. That we remember now, remember that connection with yourself and with God is important to help to guide how to connect with our counterpart.
Okay.
Right. And so that, to me, I believe is one of our main challenges today. And another aspect of it, I think our men have become somewhat demotivated. And they're not so driven as before to participate in society. And I do believe that, I honestly believe from where I sit, I think men are beginning to step back.
Yeah.
And that is dangerous for society because on one hand, the other gender is saying, well, look here, I get the opportunity to step up and I get to lead time now. But it's dangerous for society because what you're saying essentially is that this that God has placed is no longer good enough for you. And so you're now stepping over the man who is here. And that, for me, is very dangerous for society because what it means is that our society becomes unprotected. No, I'm not saying that our female counterparts can't protect.
But we need both.
We definitely need both.
Not just men, not just women. We need both in equilibrium.
Definitely.
So this response, especially towards the whole demotivation, you mentioned in our societies, it sounds like our communities have a big responsibility in pulling the men back. Is that accurate? The community?
Well, let us put it this way. I don't want to blame the community and put the blame on society per se, because we have some responsibility as men.
Right.
We can actively see what is happening, and we must actively find a way to get to that point. I never reached this point on my own. Of course, I had my grandfather, I had my elders. I still have my elders today around me who guide me constantly, even now that I'm a father. But what is important, I believe, that our men really need to start connecting with themselves more, loving themselves more. They have grown up in a society that they're poured more out than inward.
We're going to have to go to a break right now. A fascinating conversation on manhood, and then we will go into fatherhood. So more on this discussion with Senior Quality Management Officer with responsibility for quality management within the Ministry of Health and Wellness. And he's the co-chairman of the Men's Coalition Committee at the Jamaica Civil Service Association. That's Alan Carter. We return right after this.
Think positively. Focus on the power of optimism and hope. The thoughts we nurture shape our attitudes, actions, and ultimately our lives. So, reflect on the good in your life.
Welcome back to Get the Facts. So far, we've explored what it means to be a man. But what about fatherhood? We now turn to a deeper conversation with Senior Quality Management Officer with responsibility for quality management within the Ministry of Health and Wellness and co-chairman of the Men's Coalition Committee at the Jamaica Civil Service Association, Alan Carter, as we examine these important questions further. Sir Carter, we spoke about what it means to be a man, how to become a man, and taking leadership of your life. So yes, the community helps, but you also have to take leadership of your life.
That's correct.
Right? A young man might be watching and wondering, when is the right time to become a father? Is there a right time?
Well, let's put it this way. There is a right time. You will know what that time is. There are certain milestones that you'd have to hit in your life cycle to realize that you're at that point.
Right.
When you would have realized that no one is coming to save you, and you will be responsible for your own life, and you start on that journey, that is usually the time when you realize that, yes, I'm now in a position where another life can be dependent on, because that is very important.
Yeah.
Remember, when I became a father, that night when I saw my son for the very first time was a powerful moment, and I still have it burnt in my mind right now. Those little eyes looking up at you, and you realize that you're now responsible for another life outside of your own.
Yes,
that is very important.
So you're looking at me like, hey, me, you know, I've not only... If I say this, I need you to answer this question first.
Yes, sir.
So we mentioned this right in the first segment. Let's pick it up now. How would you define fatherhood beyond he brings money? Financial provision.
Fatherhood, in just a few words, would be defined as the protector, the provider, of course, and the presider, which is that the leadership aspect of it. So the leadership of it is very, very important. Being a protector is very important, because you're putting them out in a world now that they don't understand.
Right.
And you will have to help them to navigate that space. Very, very importantly, and also to be a provider. Now, being a provider, I'm sure this society would have placed more emphasis on provision. Of course, our counterparts,
money.
Our counterparts are very mindful of that.
Right.
But the provision of money is not the only thing.
Right.
Money is one aspect of it, but the provision is in terms of shaping that environment that youngster will grow in.
Atmosphere creation.
Yes.
Got it.
Very important.
Right. So does this mean, and based on what you said about your father and your grandfather, from where you sit, do you see that it is important for these things to happen, that the man actually needs to be present in the daily life of the home?
And my answer to that is absolutely yes. Absolutely.
Tell us more.
Yes. There are instances in that child's life that child will need that fatherly guidance,
Right.
that fatherly presence, that additional voice in the home that is saying, look, here is a solution. Because remember, men are naturally problem solvers. Yeah? And so our presence not only reinforces that level of security in the mind of the child, but it also demonstrates to that child that you're going to be there for them, and you're not always going to be there, because my father would have indicated to me that day is coming when he'll not be around,
Right.
and I'll have to stand on my own. But also to reinforce us, to protect us. I was bullied in school, and my father was there straight throughout to ensure that we were protected. So there are moments like that will happen. And if your father is not in the home or away most of the time, those opportunities for continued molding will be missed. And that is very important, because remember, in raising a child, you're literally molding and shaping this child to become either positive impact on society or the reverse, a negative impact on society.
So what you're saying is these formative experiences that come up in daily life,
Yes.
they're not well suited for visits or, I see you sometimes, or
No.
it's living together. That's important.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay. So what are some of the key qualities that make what's the word we use? Great, but we also put effective father.
Consistency.
Consistency.
Very
All right.
important. The pickup of my child is something that I look forward to. If I'm late, my son will scold me.
Yeah.
Consistency is important.
Where they can depend
Discipline.
on you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Discipline is also important. Knowing when to say no, knowing when to move. So I would say consistency, discipline, integrity also is very fundamentally important. Accountability.
Yeah.
Now let's look at scheduling, time management.
Right.
Very important assets to have once you're in that fatherhood. And I would say that, well, you're a man, you will find your way, but once you become a father, those things you start to learn, you start to you will learn what is important, what's not. There's some activities that I don't show up because I'm spending time with my son.
Yeah. I have to ask you this as we move to our close. Is it important for fathers to play with their children?
Yeah, definitely.
Because you can have disciplinarian and provider, but
let me show you. It's a balancing act,
right.
Because with my son, with my family, I'm the disciplinarian, and I played my son, and you will have to know when it is to take it easy. I mean, we're not going to go back to the 70s and the 80s. I always tell my son that he's living in prime time. He's living good days, because back then, and he always said to me that, Dad, we're not in olden days. We're here now. And I said, fine, but understand that we're coming from times when anything could be your beating. But now, balancing it and having a balanced parenting is definitely important. So as a disciplinarian, I played my kids.
Thank you so much for that. This has been Get the Facts. Our guest was Alan Carter, Senior Quality Management Officer with responsibility for quality management within the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and he's co-chairman of the Men's Coalition Committee at the Jamaica Civil Service Association. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm Theodore Henry. Take good care.
He is a God-ordained leader, sworn protector and teacher, a mirror with an image to uphold, with arms for when she is cold, a formidable warrior built with integrity, upholding his sovereignty, king of the house he built, and a servant to all who abide in it. Look no farther. He is strong, he is benevolent, he is a father.
As the discussion mentioned earlier, the role of fathers in the home is an invaluable one. And it's often the simple moments shared together that leave the deepest impressions. From life lessons to laughter and lasting traditions, children and fathers are reflecting on some of their fondest memories together. Let's hear more in this special feature.
My dad's name is Henry Miller.
My father's name is Claude Knight.
Tyrone Hamilton.
For many children, Dad is a hero, a teacher, a protector, and a friend. This Father's Day, we asked the children to tell us about the man they call Daddy, and then we asked some of the daddies what being a father means to them.
Tyrone Hamilton.
It's a great experience to know that you have a child, and it's a great experience to know that there is a person that can also call you and say, Daddy.
He loves me and my sister equally.
I love them very, very much, and as I said, I will do the world for them. They keep me pushing very, very hard to know that they are okay, to know that they are well taken care of.
He took us on a picnic. He enjoys, he has like a father and daughter's day. Then we went to get burgers, and then after that we went home. He went on a call. He called us separately. Then he told us he would carry us out the next day. It was fun. We didn't want to get burger, but we went to get KFC.
I love to be around my child, knowing that they are there saying, Daddy, oh, always to be like, to take them out, have fun with them, sit with them, talk with them, and listen their point of story. Sometimes your kids is always have something to say that they might not say it to their mommy, but they will say it to their dad. I make sure that they have whatever they need. As I said, there is a lot that I didn't get in my time of growing. So what I try to do, I try to push hard for them to get whatever I didn't get, like schooling, college.
My name is Kadia Loy Knight. I love my father because first, he was selected by God to be my father. Secondly, because he is one of those persons who work hard, and he's always giving me good advice. He's always telling me that I can be anything that I want to be, and he's always telling me to go for my dreams. And he's just there always giving me jokes, and he's somebody that I can talk to. So my favorite moment of my father is actually, it was on his 60th birthday. We had a party for him, and he just came out and he was just dancing up a storm on the dance floor, and everybody was so surprised to see how much he was dancing. And I enjoyed that moment. And I can also remember when I was in high school, and he will come and pick me up from school every evening, and we will go to the different stores and we just shop together. So that was one of my favorite memories.
I think it was in 1990 something when we traveled from Kingston to Clarendon to do our fishing on the I think it was the Salt River. And what was my favorite was because my son was there with her as well. And it's bring back so many memories because I lost my son several years after. So that was the most memorable moment with Kadia.
I'm Alicia Miller. Let me preface this and say my dad is a girl dad. So the reason I really, really, truly love my dad is my daddy can. I'm loving to say my daddy can, because even my daddy can't, as a girl dad, my daddy can do everything. My favorite memory with my dad is when we were coming back from Ochi and the Bobwart Gorge was flooded, and so we had to drive through Sligoville, and the road was so bad, like super bad, and we're just there driving, chatting, and then we fell into this deep pothole. We'd call that crater, and my dad just gave out, "My dead granny, mama red trousers." And I'm like, what? Like, where you get that from? Like, where? And it was just out of the blue, so hilarious, unexpected. And it's something I always remember, you know, going to driving towards Ochi to that end. It's something I always remember. And there was just so much laughter in the car.
Father's Day can be a bit emotional for some children whose dads have transitioned, but their memories continue to live on.
My most memorable moment with my dad was when I was around 2 or 3 years old. So Daddy had this big tummy, right? And when I was a child, he would, whenever it was time for me to sleep, he would put me on top of his tummy and he would pat me to bed, and then he would, you know, lift me up and take me to my room to sleep. And, you know, I've always remembered that to this very day. We had this huge almond tree in the yard, right? I was around 10 or 11 years old, and I remember Daddy calling me out in the yard one day to tell me, you know, look at the leaves, they are changing color. And that's how people are. They'll change upon you, they won't give you any notice, they'll just change one day. And to this very day, I've always taken that advice.
So I've shared a lot of memories with my father. I think the fondest memory would be, you know, just spending time with him and him teaching me what it takes to actually be a man. You know, staying true to your words and how much weight your word actually carry, but more so over the action that's behind the words and how important it is to actually not just say, but also to do what you said.
Happy Father's Day, Daddy, and I love you.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
To all fathers, stepfathers, grandfathers, and father figures, happy Father's Day.
What does it look like to unmask nicotine in our communities or schools or homes and in our digital spaces? First, make a personal pledge. Commit today to staying tobacco-free. If you've already started, then commit to seeking help, because addiction is a disease. It is not a moral failing for you, and support is available. Second, share the message with somebody. Speak to somebody today. Send a message. Post it on your story. Change does not begin in legislation. It begins in conversation. You have more influence over the people around you than any advertising budget ever could. Third, call it out. When it is that you see nicotine marketing targeted at young people, name it, report it, challenge it. Hold platforms and retailers accountable for how it is that we target and sell to children. You are not powerless in the face of an industry strategy. You are, in fact, one of the people they fear most if you are an informed, activated, and undeceived youth.
We've come to the end of today's show. I do hope that you enjoyed this package. To catch a repeat of this or any other, feel free to log on to our website at jis.gov.jm. Until next time, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.